Imagine this. You've done your best marketing and quoting. You present it to the prospect and they say they'll call you back. Then it's crickets. After the policy effective date comes and goes, you finally learn they've placed their coverage elsewhere. Their reason? I wasn't sure when you'd have those quotes ready, so I couldn't wait any longer. You're killing me, Smalls. Has this ever happened to you? Come on, it's happened to all of us at some point. You see, the deadly mistake that's preventing your sales from skyrocketing is that you might not be setting clear expectations with your prospects. There are 3 specific areas you need to be doing this, and I'm gonna cover each one of them with you because I wanna help you close way more business, way more often. But before I do, I'd love for you to answer this one quick question for me in the comments below. Which do you think takes more of your time right now? Getting the information you need for your clients to get quotes, or actually getting quotes from your carriers? I'll tell you why I'm asking this in a minute, but for now, hit pause and let me know the answer to that question in the comments. All right, let's help you skyrocket those sales by setting clear expectations. Number 1, setting time expectations. Now, this one may sound like a no-brainer, but this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks I see agents struggle with when it comes to selling insurance. Look, the quoting process can take minutes or days depending on the account's complexity. You need to let people know ahead of time what to expect here. The green lizards of our world have done our clients a huge disservice by commoditizing insurance. 15 minutes or less, right? Wrong. You and I both know that properly insuring someone's home, auto, or business takes whatever amount of time to properly assess all the risks, get the quotes, and review everything until they have what they need and they understand what they need and what it's going to cost. But the general public has been brainwashed by billions of dollars of advertising and trying to convince them that insuring their $500,000 house requires the same amount of effort as going to the grocery store and buying a gallon of milk. Hogwash. It's your job as their insurance advisor to set realistic time expectations for turning around quotes and reviewing them. And that may take a little explanation as to why it'll take so long. But believe me, it will make all the difference in the world. Our top producer, who has $1 million book of business, by the way, has a favorite saying: you can blow anybody off for any amount of time as long as you tell them that you're gonna do it. I know it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's true. Remember our example from the beginning of the episode? There's a much higher probability that the prospect would have waited for those quotes if the agent had told them ahead of time, hey, given the fact that you've got a home with a pool, 2 cars, a classic car, and a pit bull, it may take me a couple of days to get some underwriting holds cleared after I rate this online with a few carriers. Just wanted to set that expectation for you now so you don't think I'm blowing you off. Then, and here's the kicker, surprise them halfway through the time frame that you gave them. If you told them it would take you 2 days, call them or text them to let them know that you're still working on it about a day in. It's a psychological trick. People are less likely to bail on you if they think that you're out there actively working hard for them. You just have to show them signs of life. Still with me? All right, let's talk about one of the most hotly debated expectations to set: setting price expectations. Whoa, Jim, I know what you're talking about, but I would never give my client, a prospect, a price before I get quotes. Are you crazy? They'll just get scared and go somewhere else and find a lower price while I'm working my butt off just to get quotes. I hear you. I've been there. I used to be that commercial agent who would hide the pricing on the last page of my proposal. I'd even take it out there all bound up with a pretty cover page, their logo and mine living together in harmony. I'd flip through the pages, explaining coverage after coverage, droning on and on until I sounded like the muffled voices of the adults from the Peanuts cartoons. And the whole time, you know what they wanted to know? The price. And guess what? If they didn't like what they saw after all that, they'd go find another agent to give them quotes. And that was after I'd spent all the time quoting, preparing my proposal, spending my hard-earned gas money to go present it. In reality, our prospects and clients want the same thing we do. Just set an expectation so I can decide from the very beginning as a client what my next move is gonna be. They're starved for time, just like you and me. So be respectful, set a price expectation. No, that doesn't mean you need to be to the penny or anywhere close to it, but you do need to give them some kind of range and tell them why. You remember our $1 million producer? I can't tell you how many times he's given someone a range for their security guard insurance and he ended up writing their coverage. And spoiler alert, they don't always buy right away. As a matter of fact, he tells them flat out a range of a couple of few $1,000s of premium. Then he explains some of the market factors that are causing those rates, like armed versus unarmed guards and whether they're patrolling nightclubs or schools. But you know the crazy thing he does next? He actually tells them to shop around a little if they want to verify what he's saying. And you know what? He consistently gets phone calls out of the blue a month after he's first spoken to them. And they usually need the insurance right away by then. So does it take a little time? Yes, but it works. Setting a basic price expectation at the very beginning can drastically improve your close ratio. Don't believe me? Try it for yourself. Okay, before we get into that last crucial expectation to set, remember that question I asked you at the beginning about which takes you longer, gathering your client's information to quote or actually quoting? Well, I hear both answers a lot, but I probably hear it more often that it takes a lot longer to get clients to respond with all the information you need to quote. And it usually takes a lot of back and forth communication to get it all. So while neither of these companies are sponsors of the show, I do want to share them with you anyway, because I want to help you. Go check out InsureGrid and Canopy Connect. They both do essentially the same thing. They help you get your client's deck page information in just a few clicks. I'll put links to both in the notes below. You're welcome. Now, on to that last crucial expectation you need to set for your clients so you can sell more and stop getting hosed. Number 3, setting incumbent expectations. If you've been an agent for any amount of time, you know what I'm talking about. You quote your little heart out, you present everything, and then crickets. Why? Because as soon as you delivered all your hard work, you forgot. There's another agent out there who's about to lose their client, so they become yours. And you know what they did? That agent came over to your client's office with a bottle of wine and stories of the good old days, and bam, your opportunity vanished, my friend. You got railroaded. Before you even think about leaving your client's office after you presented your proposal, you need to tell them a story. You need to paint a picture of what it's likely going to be like when the incumbent agent hears they're about to lose their client. You need to be specific in your details with that story, and you need to ask them one question. How are you going to handle it when they try to convince you to stay? By the way, if you want a proven framework for creating that story, you can steal it from me right now at agentsgrowthacademy.com/storytelling. You're welcome. If that client really wants to work with you, they'll give you an honest answer. And that answer will create a bond of trust that you might not even realize is there. And when the incumbent actually does try to schmooze them, your new client will feel a twinge of guilt that they've not only committed to you, but they even told you they wouldn't give in to the temptation to stay with what's easy and comfortable. Essentially, your question and their answer to it would have acted like role playing, like coaching for that very moment. And when you've given them an opportunity to practice their response, they'll be much more likely to stick to their guns because it won't be the first time they've had to face that reality. What you're probably saying to yourself right now is, Jim, these are great, but what else can you teach me to help me skyrocket my sales? Well, my friend, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's why I made this video right here. Now go out there and grow big or go home.